Hi guys, welcome back to another week of case studies. So as usual, I'll start with the indexes first. This week I'll just add something extra into the index chart reviews. So as usual, I start with the Nasdaq. Actually, Nasdaq, Dow Jones, and S&P 500 are quite in tandem now. They are all facing some form of resistance at the top, which is not allowing them to continue going higher lah. Okay, so all three are actually in tandem the same. And Russell 2000 is already coming lower, close the gap, and seems to have some form of a rebound over there. But I think we need to wait and see where it moves next. So this is the US 10-year yield, which seems to have gone up then come back down. Possible pullback. 2 years has been diving, which is a good thing for stocks. And the 5 years is also not that good lah. Okay, so good for stocks. But the dollar index seems to be climbing higher. Okay. Next, for the VIX index, it seems to have formed a kind of higher low over here, and then this is kind of like a double bottom lah. Okay, this is the short QQQ index, short S&P 500 index, and also the short semiconductor index, and this is the semiconductor index. So before I move over to the rest, I would like to share this US interest rate chart. Okay, and I'd like to compare it with the no, this one cannot. Let's say Nasdaq chart lah, or maybe we can also add in the we just put all four lah. Okay, so this will be month, this will be month, and this will be month. So this will be US NPR. And this will be Dow Jones. This will be S&P 500. Let's skip this. Okay, so this is not the best. S&P 500. Maybe this time. Okay, so I want to go back to 2007. Okay. So let's just go back to 2007. Okay, that will be about here. Okay. This one don't have, so I need to change. Just give me a moment. So here's the 2007. This one is S&P 500. Yeah, this under 2009. Let's see the other one. Under 2015. Okay, I can't really find S&P 500 one. Oh, SPX maybe. Wait. Okay, so this one will be good. Okay, this is just a comparison, just to give you an idea of what to expect in the market. Okay, so if we look at the previous recession, which is a 0708 one, where it was related to housing interest and everything. So of course the interest rate started to spike up from here. Okay, where if you look at all the indexes, they were just doing normal. Okay, and then it continued going higher. So despite the increase in interest rate, actually market continued to rally. Okay, market actually rallied until here. Okay, if you see, it's about June 2006, and if you look at the Dow Jones, S&P 500, and Nasdaq, they were all still moving higher. Okay, so then after that the interest rate stood still. Okay, it was still until about August 2007. Okay, about here. Okay, and you see all indexes are still the same. Okay, it didn't really crash, it was still going higher, or it was just kind of flat. Okay, starting from September, when they started to reduce interest rates, you can see that stocks do not they don't really favor reducing interest rates lah. Okay, so as you see here, market is starting to stand still. Okay, only if you look at here, only Nasdaq seems to still go up, S&P 500, the Dow Jones seems to be flat, and then we move on to November. They were all red for that month, and December, when the interest rate dropped the most, is actually when the fall started. Okay, so it started and it continued. Okay, until interest rates came back to about 0. Of course, I'm not expecting the market to, or the Feds to come back to 0, but that is what it is lah. Okay, so then when it was really back to 0, it took about 2 to 3 months for the indexes to stabilize before it started climbing back higher. Okay, so if you look at here, interest rates were 0 for up until about November 2015. Okay, if you look at these two charts, until about here, sorry, this one can't see. So you can see the Nasdaq rallied the most among all. Okay, 2015 over here. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is just I'm not being bearish. Okay, I'm just explaining to see what happens usually when an interest rate comes down. Okay, despite many people are in favor that the interest rate come down, and it's going to be good for stocks. I'm not too certain looking at how the charts are moving, and they mostly move due to news, not really based on the fundamentals of the company. Of course, some companies are doing pretty well, some are not. Okay, but I don't think the interest rate factors in for how the performance of it should be. Okay, this is just a comparison with 0708. This is my own personal opinion. It does not necessarily need to be the same. I'm aware that the interest rate started coming down because the country entered into a recession, so interest rates had to start coming down. But my point is, the interest rate coming down does not necessarily automatically tell you that the index is going to become bullish. Okay, you just need to take note of that lah. Okay, so next will be the Hang Seng Index, which of course is not doing well. It's going down the drains. The China Index is the same. It's not doing well. Nikkei Index is all-time high now. Nikkei Index is the one that usually follows the US Index. When US Index does well, they tend to be able to follow as well. Oil prices seems to be slowly climbing up. KLCI Index has finally hit the 1005 and got a heavy pullback, as you can see from most of the stocks. Small cap index is the same, it's following quite well. Okay, and other bursa indexes like property, REITs, generally are all doing okay lah. Okay, finance, I think yes, heavy sell down. That was when the index hit 1005 and then it started coming down. Utilities is generally still bullish. Construction is bullish. Technology haven't really start engine lah. Okay, plantation, I think it's on the rise. Industrial products, not so good. Healthcare will very much depend on gloves. Consumer, I don't think there's much of a trend, to be honest. Transportation, I think there is some momentum. I think Anwar also mentioned, our PMX also mentioned that there's a lot of potential in the transport sector. And telecommunications is as usual about there. Okay, so now we move over to the case studies for the week. So first is MI. If you look at MI, I think it's quite clear that it's quite bullish lah. Okay, you can see from here the trend line, it's kind of like this. Okay, it's all the way going higher. The moving averages are already in tune with each other. The lighter ones are above the heavier ones, and it's already above the resistance over here lah. So to me, I think it looks pretty bullish. Okay, for MI. Next will be UWC. UWC, same. If you look at the trend line over here, it's really intact, really respects the uptrend line now. Okay, so for me, it looks to be something good lah for UWC. Yeah, and it's supported by the 200 days moving average as well. So for me, I think it's quite still bullish. That means there is a good long-term prospect. Okay. Next is Uzma oil and gas counter. You see the breakout with volume was actually very strong lah. Okay, and then there's some pullback over here. I did not note this resistance of 0.895 just only. I think it has been there quite some time, and it happens to be a resistance from March 2021. So if you look at here, it's kind of like stopping exactly at 0.895. But as usual, I always tell, more often than not, 52 weeks one work better than 5 years ago kind of resistance and support lah. Okay, So it's currently just resting here. It may just attempt to do some pullback. You see the volume is quite low before it attempts to go higher lah. Okay. Next is GHM. GHM may have found bottom over here, over here. So then it's forming the first higher low here and possibly a second higher low over here, which is something very good to have lah. That means there's a change in trend over here. Okay. So if there is really a change in trend, then of course it will be good for the counter lah. Okay. Means it's finally going to go uptrend again. Then next is Bahvest. Actually, Bahvest, you can see a small inverted head and shoulders over here, which I don't know whether will materialize or not. Okay, so you just need to wait and see lah. Generally, if you look at the trend, it's been very bullish. Okay, I think since the executive people has been apprehended and stuff like that, I think it has been pretty bullish, and it seems to be climbing higher and higher lah. Okay, so I think that this is quite good. Okay, next is Muhibah. The inverse head and shoulders that did not materialize previously seems to be materializing now and slowly climbing higher. So of course the previous resistance of 0.78 is definitely going to be a strong support in the future. You can see that it hovered around here a few times before finally having a high volume to break out here, followed by a low volume pullback and another high volume of engulfing the previous day's candle to go higher, although this is not considered as a bullish engulfing. But yes, the volume of going up has been higher. But over the recent days, you can see that there has been some form of wick above lah. Okay, so you need to be a bit cautious on this to see whether there's a pullback coming or not lah. Okay. Jtiasa, generally it's a very nice chart. Okay, it's a kind of a rounding bottom over here, if you see. Okay, and then you have a small handle over here on the left side. But this candle is not very favorable. Jtiasa's candle here, which hit 1.01 and reversed back down to almost its opening price lah. So it's actually balanced between the top and bottom wick, and I think it will go for some pullback before it attempts to continue climbing higher lah. Okay, but generally the chart looks quite nice lah. Okay, ULICORP, I think he has been bullish, despite the market conditions and everything. He has been pretty bullish lah. Okay, you can see that the volume thinning. Volume is actually not very big compared to here, but the volume is kind of thinning, and there is some form of consolidation around here lah. Okay, so I think ULICORP is one counter that you need to give some time to see where it's heading to lah. Okay, so let's see if I pull this over here. I'll pull this over here. Nah, not very accurate. Okay, so just give ULICORP some time lah. Okay, next counter will be SAMCHEM. SAMCHEM has kind of risen from the dead lah. Okay, it was like at all-time low here, then it broke down and went even deeper before climbing higher, then having a good quarter report, and it started rocketing higher lah. So I think it's good. It closed the gap and continued going higher already. I think SAMCHEM's trend is quite intact now. I think you just need to wait for the 150 days to move above the 200 days, and it will be even better lah from there on. Okay. GTRONIC, yes, I think it's in my chart reviews as well. I think it's doing quite bullish, but there is some form of resistance over here at about 1.75 lah. Okay, if it's able to break out from there, then yes, all's good. It will continue climbing higher, and if it's not, then you will most likely pull back lah. Okay. Next is Wells. I also highlighted Wells before. I think it's in stage 1 accumulation again. Because of the chart that it displays lah. Okay, so it has attempted to go higher, but it has failed, then came back down to about the previous support area, which is 0.63 to 0.64. It looks quite bullish for me lah. Okay, from my point of view. It looks like it's attempting to go higher. Okay, but of course, if it doesn't happen, okay, and it breaks below about 6.3, that means it's going to turn bearish lah. Then it means this is like kind of a second round of distribution. Okay, next is EPICON. It's interesting to see. It looks something like ULICORP. Let me just compare for you. ULICORP had one long candle red washout, and then it kind of balanced there. Okay. And now it's kind of happening with EPICON as well. One long candle, high volume, then it kind of balances about that. So I think it looks quite bullish lah. Okay, for this momentum. Next will be SLVEST. As I have mentioned in many videos ago, I believe SLVEST is one of the better counters for solar lah in the Malaysian market. So as you can see, it's already almost challenging a 52-week high, and it seems to be it's going to be able to do it lah. Okay. Yeah. This is the latest support that it has done, about 1.34, and it will. I can see it will attempt to climb higher lah. Okay. Next is MASTEEL, steel counter. If you look at here, it seems like it formed. This is the lowest. Okay, then form a higher low, and now it's another higher low lah. Possibly 335 will be a new higher low. Okay. So I mean, I'm not sure. I can't predict what will happen. But it looks like what. I mean, that is what it seems like lah. Okay. So yeah. And lastly will be INARI. So if you look at INARI, I think it's quite obvious that he has been in this zone for a very, very long time, and he is attempting to break out lah from this zone finally. Okay, maybe the AI and stuff has actually assisted the technology counters to attempt to break out lah. Okay, but if it doesn't, that means you will see something like what happened in Penta, whereby it, continues consolidating within that box only lah, and there won't be anything interesting to see until it breaks up or breaks down. Okay. So yes, that will be all for this week's case studies. As usual, my disclaimer, none of this is actually considered a buy or sell call, and this entire video is for educational purpose only. Okay, if you require any financial advice, please look for your licensed remiser or your licensed remiser or your licensed financial advisor. Okay, this entire video is just for educational purpose and should not be considered as a buy or sell call. Okay, so that will be all for this week, and I will see you guys again next time. Okay, thank you, bye bye.
If you liked this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more videos.